He never wanted a family. He built empires, chased power, and avoided love. But when he saw her standing there with three little faces staring back at him, his world shattered, and everything he thought he wanted changed forever. If this story resonated with you, click subscribe and let me know in the comments where you're watching from, because tomorrow, I will be giving you another story just as beautiful as this one, and you don't want to miss it. Now let us begin. Ethan Caldwell, 42, strides through the gleaming lobby of Caldwell Technologies. His tailored suit, sharp shoes, and precise movements reflect a life of control. His assistant trails behind, papers in hand. Ethan's mind is always in motion, board meetings, acquisitions, quarterly numbers, but today feels slightly off. He shakes it off and steps into the elevator, unaware of what's about to disrupt his world. Across town, Clara Montgomery, 38, hustles three energetic children through the Lincoln Park Zoo. Ava, bold and curious, tugs at her mother's hand toward the penguin exhibit. Leo, quiet and observant, lingers near the reptile house, eyes wide with fascination. Mia, mischievous and charming, sneaks a piece of ice cream behind her mother's back, grinning. Clara's phone buzzes with patient calls and reminders, but she focuses on her children, savoring their laughter. Ethan's life is all schedules and control. Clara's world is chaos, warmth, and love. Their paths are separate, yet fate is inching them toward collision. That collision will come sooner than either expects, and it will challenge everything Ethan thought he wanted, and everything Clara has built alone. A week later, Ethan's boardroom is tense. He's reviewing quarterly results when his assistant, Jenna, hesitates before speaking. Mr. Caldwell, Dr. Montgomery is here. She says it's urgent. Ethan freezes. Clara. The last time he saw her, their divorce had been messy, quiet bitterness lingering in every word. He rises, heart thudding, and steps out into the lobby. And then he sees them. Clara walks in, confident but tired, pushing a stroller with twins, then another stroller behind it with a third child. Triplets. His triplets. His chest tightens, his mind screaming in disbelief. Ava tugs at Clara's sleeve and looks up at Ethan with wide, curious eyes. Are you, Daddy? Leo hides behind Clara, peeking out cautiously. Mia waves a sticky hand at him, a toothy grin spreading across her face. Ethan's world stops. The empire, the meetings, the relentless control, none of it matters. The children's faces burn into his memory, forcing feelings he thought he had buried forever. Clara looks at him evenly. They're 6 years old, Ethan, and it's time you saw them. The room feels impossibly small. Ethan takes a step forward, then freezes again. Fear, longing, and regret collide inside him. What? How? I didn't know, he stammers, words failing him. Ava laughs and reaches for him. I think you should sit with us, Daddy. We have ice cream. The spark ignites. Ethan's controlled world is now intertwined with chaos, laughter, and responsibility he never asked for, but cannot deny. Ethan steps back into the office, heart pounding. Trevor, waiting outside the boardroom, raises an eyebrow. They're what? Ethan finally whispers, voice tight. Trevor shakes his head. You knew about the divorce, but triplets? You never mentioned anything. Ethan rubs his face, trying to steady himself. His mind reels, not just with numbers or business strategies, but with the realization that 6 years of his life passed without him noticing. Meanwhile, Clara and the children settle into a small conference room near the lobby. The kids are excited, pointing out colorful toys and drawings they brought to show Daddy. Ava grabs Ethan's tie, tugging him forward. Look, Daddy, I drew you. Leo quietly studies him, measuring, wondering if he's real. Mia sneaks a hand into Ethan's pocket, tugging lightly, testing boundaries. Colleagues in the hall whisper, curious eyes following the scene. Some glance at Ethan with judgment, others with pity. His carefully constructed reputation feels fragile, cracking under the weight of this unexpected family confrontation. Ethan swallows hard. Emotions he hasn't faced, regret, longing, fear, collide violently with pride and disbelief. His empire feels meaningless, the walls of his office no longer a shield but a cage. For the first time in years, he feels utterly unprepared, vulnerable, and alive. The triplets laugh together, unaware of the storm they've unleashed. Ethan watches them, and a small, unbidden thought crosses his mind. Could I really let them go? Ethan retreats to his corner office, closing the door behind him. The city skyline stretches before him, but it feels distant, irrelevant. He runs a hand through his hair, trying to force logic over the tidal wave of emotion. Trevor knocks gently. Ethan, you need to talk to them. I can't. Ethan snaps, voice cracking slightly. I didn't ask for this. I never wanted children. I can't. I'm not ready. Meanwhile, Clara corrals the triplets in the lobby. Ava frowns, Leo crosses his arms, and Mia pouts. Daddy's mad at us. Ava asks. Clara kneels beside them. No, sweethearts. He just needs time. Ethan paces. Every instinct screams to maintain control, to protect his carefully curated life. Yet every glance at the images of the children in his mind, Leo's quiet stare, Mia's mischievous grin, weakens his resistance. Madeline enters his office unexpectedly. You're avoiding them again, Ethan, she says bluntly. You can't run from this. They're your children. You made them. You need to face that. Ethan glares, frustrated, but his voice softens. I don't know if I can. 6 years gone, Madeline. How am I supposed to? How do I even start? Madeline places a firm hand on his shoulder. Start by being here. That's all you need to do. Let them see you. That's the first step. He exhales, tension coiling through him. He wants to resist, to retreat back into his world of order, schedules, and control, but the laughter echoing from the lobby calls him, insistent and irresistible. Ethan reluctantly follows Clara and the triplets into a small cafe nearby. The children chatter excitedly, Ava pointing out her favorite table, Leo carefully arranging his toy cars on the seat beside him, and Mia sneaking glances at Ethan with a mischievous grin. Ethan slides into the booth, stiff and uncomfortable, his hands gripping the edge of the table. Clara sets down a tray of juice boxes and sandwiches, smiling gently. They've been looking forward to this, she says softly. Ava leans close. Daddy, can you push me on the swing later? Ethan hesitates, feeling the tug of a life he never imagined. His mind races, meetings, emails, travel plans, but the children's eyes are filled with hope and innocence. He swallows hard. I think I can do that, he says quietly. Mia reaches out and grabs his hand, lacing her fingers through his. See? It's not so bad. Leo finally speaks, voice barely above a whisper. You're really here. Ethan nods, chest tight. Forced into proximity with his children, he begins to feel the weight of what he missed and the undeniable pull of what he could still have. The world outside his booth, the skyline, the city, the office, fades into the background. For the first time in years, he is present, unshielded, and unsure, but unwilling to turn away. Clara watches silently, letting him adjust. The bridge between them is tentative, fragile, but it has been built. And in that small cafe, amidst laughter, juice boxes, and sticky fingers, Ethan realizes he cannot leave. Not yet. Not when the triplets are waiting for him to choose to stay. Ethan reluctantly follows Clara and the triplets into a small cafe nearby. The children chatter excitedly, Ava pointing out her favorite table, Leo carefully arranging his toy cars on the seat beside him, and Mia sneaking glances at Ethan with a mischievous grin. Ethan slides into the booth, stiff and uncomfortable, his hands gripping the edge of the table. Clara sets down a tray of juice boxes and sandwiches, smiling gently. They've been looking forward to this, she says softly. Ava leans close. Daddy, can you push me on the swing later? Ethan hesitates, feeling the tug of a life he never imagined. His mind races, meetings, emails, travel plans, but the children's eyes are filled with hope and innocence. He swallows hard. I think I can do that, he says quietly. Mia reaches out and grabs his hand, lacing her fingers through his. See? It's not so bad. Leo finally speaks, voice barely above a whisper. You're really here. Ethan nods, chest tight. Forced into proximity with his children, he begins to feel the weight of what he missed and the undeniable pull of what he could still have. The world outside his booth, the skyline, the city, the office, fades into the background. For the first time in years, he is present, unshielded, and unsure, but unwilling to turn away. Clara watches silently, letting him adjust. The bridge between them is tentative, fragile, but it has been built. And in that small cafe, amidst laughter, juice boxes, and sticky fingers, Ethan realizes he cannot leave. Not yet. Not when the triplets are waiting for him to choose to stay. The following morning, Ethan wakes in his high-rise apartment, the city humming below. He can't stop thinking about the previous day, the laughter, the sticky fingers, the children's eyes. He tries to focus on work, but every spreadsheet and email feels hollow. Meanwhile, Clara is juggling her morning routine at home: breakfast, school preparations, and calls from patients. The triplets chatter endlessly, testing boundaries, teasing, and laughing. Ava sneaks her favorite crayon into her pocket. Leo refuses to eat his cereal, and Mia hides under the table, giggling. Ethan arrives unexpectedly at their home later that morning, determined to prove he can handle this. Clara's face tightens, a mix of surprise and caution. "Ethan, what are you doing here?" I want to spend the day with them," he says, voice stiff but sincere. The children erupt with excitement, but tension simmers beneath the surface. Clara hesitates, torn between protecting them and letting Ethan in. Ethan struggles to keep up with their energy, his patience tested at every turn. Arguments flare over small things. Who gets which toy? Who sits where? Whose turn it is? While Clara silently observes, unsure if he can handle the chaos. For the first time, Ethan realizes that being part of their lives is not just about presence. It requires patience, understanding, and humility. Every misstep magnifies his guilt over 6 lost years. And as the day stretches on, the boundaries between his controlled world and their chaotic reality blur, forcing him to confront the depth of his feelings for both Clara and the triplets. That evening, the triplets are finally asleep, and Clara collapses onto the couch, exhaustion written across her face. Ethan sits across from her, hesitant, unsure of what to say. The apartment is quiet except for the soft hum of the city outside. "I need to know why you never told me," Ethan begins, voice low. "Why the triplets? Why now?" Clara exhales, her eyes distant. "After the divorce, I wanted to protect them. From you, from heartbreak, from disappointment. I didn't want them to grow up wondering why their father wasn't around." Her voice cracks slightly. "I loved you once, Ethan, but I had to survive. I had to be everything for them because you weren't there." Ethan leans back, stunned. The realization hits him like a punch. 6 years of birthdays, school plays, scraped knees, laughter, and tears, all he missed. Regret coils tightly around his chest, suffocating. I never stopped thinking about you. About them, he admits. "I thought I didn't want this, but I was wrong. I didn't know how to be a father." Clara's eyes soften, a mix of sadness and cautious hope. "It's not too late, if you're willing to try. But you have to understand, it won't be easy. They need stability, love, and patience, not just grand gestures." Ethan nods slowly, swallowing hard. The first walls between them begin to crack, revealing vulnerability he has spent years hiding. He knows the path ahead will be difficult, but seeing Clara's strength and the children's faces in his mind, he finally understands what he's been missing and what he must fight to reclaim. The next morning, Ethan volunteers to take the triplets to the nearby park. Clara watches from the doorway, cautious but curious. Ava runs ahead, arms outstretched, squealing. Leo hangs close, tentative, while Mia tugs at Ethan's hand, insisting he chase her first. For the first time, Ethan lets himself play. He lifts Mia onto his shoulders, spins Ava in the swing, and crouches to watch Leo attempt the monkey bars. Laughter erupts around him, infectious and unexpected. The city noises fade, replaced by the sounds of pure childhood joy. Ava climbs into his lap on a bench, leaning against his chest. "I like when you play with us, Daddy." Leo nods silently, eyes bright. "I think you're okay," he mutters, offering a small smile. Mia grabs his hand again, looping her tiny fingers through his. "Don't leave, okay?" Ethan feels an unfamiliar warmth. He's not controlling anyone or anything. He's just here, present, and it feels right. For the first time, he understands what he's been missing. Not the grandeur of power or the thrill of business, but the simple, messy, beautiful chaos of family. Clara watches quietly, a small smile tugging at her lips. Seeing Ethan laugh, stumble, and care for the triplets softens her caution. The bridge between them grows stronger, built on shared moments and the beginnings of trust. Back at home, Ethan tries to settle into a routine with the triplets, but chaos quickly reasserts itself. Ava refuses to do her homework. Leo accidentally spills juice on Ethan's shirt, and Mia hides the remote control, giggling as Ethan searches frantically. Clara enters the living room, arms crossed. Ethan, you can't just show up once and expect everything to go smoothly. They need consistency. Ethan rubs his temples. I know, I'm trying. I didn't grow up like this. I'm learning. Meanwhile, outside pressures mount. Trevor calls Ethan repeatedly about an urgent board decision, demanding his immediate attention. Ethan hesitates, torn between his responsibilities at work and the fragile bond forming at home. The triplets sense his distraction. Ava tugs at his sleeve. Daddy, don't leave. Leo's eyes search his face silently, while Mia hides under the couch, pouting. Ethan realizes that being present isn't enough. He must truly commit, balancing the chaos of their lives with the demands of his empire. Failure here isn't just professional. It could mean losing the trust and love of the children and Clara forever. The night ends with Ethan sitting alone in the living room, exhausted, yet determined. For the first time, he feels the weight of responsibility not as a burden, but as a challenge he must face, and a chance to finally reclaim what he lost. The next evening, Clara prepares dinner while Ethan sits at the kitchen island, helping the triplets with their homework. The atmosphere is quieter than usual. The children are focused, sensing the unspoken tension between the adults. Finally, Ethan clears his throat. Clara, I need to understand. Why did you choose to raise them alone instead of reaching out to me over the years? Clara puts down the spatula and takes a deep breath. After the divorce, I thought it was better for them if you stayed out of their lives. I knew how consumed you were by work, by power. I wanted them to have stability, someone who was always there. I thought if I asked for your involvement, I'd get disappointment instead of support. I was afraid they'd grow up learning from someone who didn't care enough. Ethan feels a lump in his throat. The truth stings, but it also explains everything. The missed birthdays, the quiet holidays, the emptiness he'd felt unknowingly. I didn't realize, he whispers, voice heavy. I was wrong about everything. I thought I didn't want this life, but I do. I want them. I want you. Clara studies him carefully, searching his eyes. It's not just about wanting, Ethan. You have to be ready to be present, to be patient. They've already grown in ways you didn't see. If you're going to stay, you have to earn their trust, and mine. Ethan nods solemnly. I will. I promise. For the first time, the walls between them begin to crumble, replaced by fragile hope. The past is painful, but the path forward, though uncertain, is finally visible. The following weekend, Ethan volunteers to take the triplets to the Chicago Children's Museum. Clara watches from a distance, her heart cautiously hopeful as he navigates the crowd with Ava, Leo, and Mia. Inside, the children's laughter fills the air. Ava tugs Ethan toward the art corner, proudly showing him her painted masterpiece. Look, Daddy, I made this for you. Leo points to a building exhibit, whispering instructions as if Ethan were a student instead of a father. Stack it higher, Daddy. Be careful. Mia sneaks up behind him, dangling a toy dinosaur over his shoulder. Rawr. Gotcha. Ethan laughs, a sound he hasn't heard from himself in years. He bends down to their level, genuinely engaged, asking questions, giving encouragement, and teasing them gently. For once, he isn't in control, he's present. Clara notices subtle changes too. He listens more, smiles more, and even anticipates the children's needs before they speak. She feels her defenses soften, realizing that perhaps Ethan is learning to be the father they all deserve. As they leave the museum, Ethan carries Mia on his shoulders while Ava and Leo hold his hands. The sun sets over the city skyline, bathing them in warm light, and for the first time, Ethan feels like he belongs, not in the boardroom, not in the empire, but here, amidst laughter, chaos, and love. A few days later, Ethan returns home from a long day at the office, expecting a quiet evening with the children. Instead, he finds Clara visibly upset, pacing the living room. What happened? He asks, concern cracking his professional composure. Clara takes a deep breath. I just got a call from the school. They're struggling. Ava got into a fight with another student, Leo's grades are slipping, and Mia has been acting out. I can't handle it alone anymore. Ethan feels a pang of guilt. He's been present, Yes, but only sporadically. He's still learning, still fumbling, and now the consequences of his absence years ago are unavoidable. The triplets overhear the tension and retreat to their rooms, leaving the apartment heavy with silence. Ethan's chest tightens. He's hit the lowest point yet, the moment when he realizes that his previous inaction has created cracks that no amount of presence can immediately fix. I should have been here, he mutters, voice thick. Every day for 6 years. I failed them, Clara. I failed you. Clara's eyes soften, but anger still simmers. It's not just about showing up now, Ethan. They've lived without you. Now you have to prove you belong, and it won't be easy. Not yet. Ethan nods, swallowing hard, determination replacing despair. He knows the road ahead is steep, but the thought of leaving the triplets, of not fixing this, is unbearable. He will fight, even if it means confronting his deepest failures. The next morning, Ethan sits in his high-rise office, staring blankly at the city below. Trevor paces behind him, uneasy. You can't just throw yourself into this, Ethan, Trevor says. There's work to do. Decisions, investors, your absence will cost the company. Ethan runs a hand through his hair, torn. I know. But my family. I can't ignore them. I've already lost 6 years. I can't lose more. Meanwhile, Clara struggles at home, juggling the triplets' needs with her own exhaustion. Ava refuses breakfast, Leo's homework is unfinished, and Mia spills juice on the kitchen floor. Clara feels the weight of responsibility crush her, but a flicker of hope remains, sparked by Ethan's efforts. The triplets sense the tension too. Ava looks at Ethan with quiet disappointment. Daddy, why do you have to go? Leo folds his arms, refusing to meet Ethan's eyes. Mia tugs at his sleeve, her small voice barely audible. Don't leave, please. Ethan feels the crushing weight of guilt and inadequacy. His professional empire demands him, yet his heart belongs here, amid the chaos, the laughter, and the fragile beginnings of trust. He realizes that success at work feels meaningless compared to the risk of losing the family he is just starting to reclaim. Torn between worlds, he makes a silent vow. He will not walk away, no matter how hard it gets. That afternoon, Madeline arrives unexpectedly at Clara's apartment, carrying a grocery bag and a warm smile. I thought you could use a hand, she says, setting the bag on the counter. And maybe give Ethan a break from looking like he's about to faint. Ethan chuckles nervously, relieved for the support. The triplets immediately swarm Madeline, Ava insisting she read them a story, Leo showing her his new toy building set, and Mia asking her to help bake cookies. Clara watches, a mixture of gratitude and surprise on her face. Madeline's presence eases the tension in the apartment, allowing Ethan to interact more naturally with the children without the pressure of constant perfection. As they work together, cleaning up spilled juice, assembling puzzles, and preparing snacks, the bond between Ethan and the triplets strengthens. They laugh, tease, and share small victories, and for the first time, Ethan feels that parenting might be possible with support. By evening, the apartment is filled with warmth and laughter. The children hug Ethan tightly, and he realizes that help doesn't weaken him. It strengthens the connection he is building with them. That night, Ethan sits alone on the balcony of Clara's apartment, the city lights twinkling below. The sounds of the triplets' soft breathing inside bring a sense of calm, yet his mind races. He thinks about the past 6 years, missed birthdays, milestones, scraped knees, laughter he never heard. Regret coils tightly around his chest, but beneath it is a growing determination. He realizes that love isn't just about showing up, it's about presence, patience, and consistency. Clara joins him quietly, leaning against the railing. You've come a long way today, she says softly. They can feel that you're trying. That counts for more than perfection. Ethan looks at her, vulnerability breaking through his usual armor. I want to do right by them. By you. I don't want to just catch up. I want to be here, every day, even when it's hard. Clara smiles faintly, hope flickering in her eyes. Then show them. Actions speak louder than words. Ethan nods, heart heavy but resolute. The path ahead is uncertain and full of challenges, but for the first time, he feels ready to face them. His life, once ruled by control and power, is slowly being reshaped by love, responsibility, and the fragile bonds of family. The following morning, Clara receives an urgent call from the hospital. A complicated surgery needs her attention immediately. She hesitates, glancing at Ethan, who has been playing with the triplets in the living room. "I have to go," she says, worry etched on her face. Ethan rises without hesitation. "I've got this," he assures her, taking the children by the hand. "Go save lives. I'll handle everything here." The triplets cheer, thrilled at the prospect of spending the day solely with their father. Ava jumps into Ethan's arms. Leo grabs his hand tightly, and Mia climbs onto his shoulders. As Clara leaves, Ethan feels the weight of choice pressing down on him. He could retreat back into work, retreat into safety and control, but he chooses otherwise. He chooses presence, commitment, and the messy, joyful responsibility of fatherhood. The morning passes in laughter, scraped knees, storytelling, and ice cream sandwiches. Ethan navigates tantrums and spills, teaching lessons, offering comfort, and discovering patience he never knew he had. By evening, the apartment is a whirlwind of toys and laughter. The triplets fall asleep exhausted but happy, Ethan collapsing onto the couch beside them, a sense of fulfillment washing over him. He has chosen them, and in doing so, has finally begun to claim the family he once thought he didn't want, but now cannot live without. A few days later, Ethan surprises Clara by organizing a small weekend outing to the Lincoln Park Zoo, the place where the triplets' first memories with him began. Ava squeals as they approach the penguin exhibit. Leo eagerly points out every animal he recognizes, and Mia can hardly contain her excitement, tugging Ethan from one display to the next. Clara watches from a distance, a cautious smile on her lips. She notices how Ethan listens, encourages, and genuinely engages with each of the children. No phone calls, no work interruptions, just him, fully present. During a quiet moment near the carousel, Ethan kneels to meet the triplets' eyes. "I know I've missed a lot, and I can't get those years back. But I promise you, from now on, I'm here. Every day, I want to make up for lost time together." Ava hugs him tightly. "We missed you, Daddy." Leo's quiet voice joins. "We forgive you." Mia wraps both arms around his neck, whispering, "Don't ever leave." For the first time in years, Ethan feels a genuine sense of hope. He realizes that though the past cannot be changed, the future is full of possibilities, and he has the chance to rebuild trust, love, and connection, one moment at a time. Just as life begins to feel balanced, Ethan receives an unexpected call from a major investor threatening to pull funding unless he prioritizes work over family. The timing couldn't be worse. Clara has an important charity event for the hospital that requires Ethan's presence to support her publicly. Torn, Ethan paces his office late at night. On one hand, the empire he built teeters on the edge. On the other, the fragile bonds with his children and Clara demand his attention. His mind races through worst-case scenarios, and guilt gnaws at him. The next morning, the triplets notice Ethan's distracted mood. Ava frowns. "Daddy, are you going to leave again?" Leo tugs at his sleeve. "Please, don't go." Mia's lip trembles as she whispers, "We need you." Ethan stops, realizing that no boardroom deal or financial gain could ever replace the love and trust he's slowly rebuilding. He makes a choice. Grabbing Clara's hand, he says firmly, "I'm with you. All of us. Nothing comes before this family." Clara's eyes well with tears, and the triplets cheer, clinging to him. Though the obstacle threatened to pull him back into his old world, Ethan's decision proves that he is finally prioritizing what truly matters. The weekend arrives, and Ethan arranges a small celebration at the apartment for the triplets' 6th birthday. Balloons float, streamers hang, and the smell of chocolate cake fills the air. Friends and a few family members gather, but the focus is clear: Ethan, Clara, and the children. As the triplets blow out their candles, Ethan kneels beside them. "I know I missed a lot of birthdays," he says softly, "but I promise, from now on, I'll be here for every one of them." Ava hugs him tightly. "We love you, Daddy." Leo nods, eyes bright. "We know you mean it this time." Mia climbs onto his lap, whispering, "Stay with us, okay?" Clara watches, her heart full. Ethan's gestures, small, thoughtful, and consistent, finally bridge the gap left by years of absence. The children's laughter, unguarded smiles, and unspoken trust signal a breakthrough. The family is healing. Ethan feels tears prick his eyes. The walls he once built around himself, pride, fear, control, begin to crumble completely. He's not just present physically. He is emotionally connected, fully invested, and finally living the life he never realized he wanted until he saw them. The triplets run around, calling him daddy, their joy echoing in every corner. Ethan realizes that the long road of missed years, regrets, and challenges has led him to this moment. A family united, love reaffirmed, and hope finally fulfilled. Months later, the Caldwell apartment is filled with warmth, laughter, and the organized chaos of family life. Ethan wakes early to make breakfast for the triplets, each of them chatting excitedly about school, friends, and weekend plans. Clara joins him in the kitchen, smiling as he juggles pancakes, juice, and homework discussions simultaneously. "You've come a long way," she says softly. Ethan grins, ruffling Ava's hair. "We've come a long way. Together." The triplets giggle, climbing onto the counters and squealing as Ethan pretends to chase them. Leo hides behind Clara, peeking out shyly, while Mia wraps herself around Ethan's leg, refusing to let go. Later, the family heads to Lincoln Park for a picnic, the city skyline glowing in the late afternoon sun. For the first time, Ethan feels completely at home, not in the boardroom, not in the empire he built, but here, surrounded by laughter, love, and the family he once thought he didn't want. Clara takes his hand, squeezing gently. "Welcome back," she says, her eyes reflecting pride and hope. Ethan looks at the triplets, then at Clara, and finally smiles, truly content. "It took me long enough, but I'm here to stay. Always." The children cheer, running ahead on the grassy path, their laughter mingling with the city's hum. Ethan watches them, heart full, knowing that redemption, love, and family have finally triumphed. The long journey of absence, regret, and missed opportunities has ended, replaced by a future built on presence, trust, and unwavering devotion. My beautiful family, life doesn't wait for the perfect moment. Love, family, and connection can't be postponed, and true happiness comes from being present for the people who matter most. Even after years of absence or mistakes, it's never too late to rebuild, forgive, and embrace the bonds that truly define us. If you were in Ethan's shoes, would you have found the courage to step back into your children's lives after so many years, or would fear and pride have held you back? Share your thoughts in the comments.
Thank you so much for watching this story all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this one, then you'll absolutely love the next. It's even crazier and more captivating than you can imagine. So go ahead and click the video showing right here on your screen, and I'll see you in the next story.